30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
I know this is a little forward for a first date, but can I touch your hammer?
Nay. This is a sacred weapon forged for gods, not fools.
Pretty please, with tiny metal wings on top. I promise I'll be worthy-ish.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Really? Vampires? Because muggers run in the...
An opportunity for combat.
Whatever that strange dingle is, I like it. I didn't come here to read. What are you aiming at?
Tay bóp bò chặt.
What are you aiming at?
Chụp xác. Còn cái xác ở dưới nữa Huy ơi. Còn cái xác ở dưới nữa đó. Nó còn ấm á. Rồi. Ngon.
Thank goodness this book has pictures.
Vortex field.
Ôi chụp. Cắp rồi. Hai sáng mình cắp luôn. Cắp ơi. Cắp số 5 rồi. Sớm không? Có bị tường lắm ta. Rồi tí cũng ok. Hish! Hish! What? Từ bỏ luôn. Đi đây với xin view out ra tay research.
Come on, I didn't come here to read.
Only 60 seconds left.
Vortex field.
Rồi 60 phút nữa research sao kìa. Có hết này có trận.
The pieces have fallen. So shall that tree.
Come on, I didn't come here to read.
Down to 30 seconds.
Mẹ quả thò để về Deadpool mà quăng siêu chậm và lóc siêu chịu quá may tóc. Nói chung là mới ra mở ulti luôn rồi. Giờ mới nhảy ra khỏi cộng để mở ulti luôn thì nó không phải là gì tốt đâu biết rồi. Không rồi nhảy ra đó thì ai sụp cho. Ai sụp. update tí anh em ơi, update tí xong quay lại.
Cốc đá xa xa là có nha, được chấm là lên đá nè, thấy không?
Ủa phải update à? Trời ơi, không có update hay gì à? Đây update này anh em, đây update, update rồi.
A lot of the teams have changed their identity and their approaches, so you have to take into consideration in each and every single match. So perhaps they turn things around. We did see Sen being able to do just that as well here in our opening week, so now is an opportunity for FlyQuest to really push back and fight back and see what they got. Now the teams look to be ready very soon, so rest assured we're diving into our last series of the day in just a little bit.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for your patience. We just want to make sure all the players are locked and loaded, ready to go, especially when FlyQuest have their backs against the wall. I like how Dogman brings up like how each individual player is so talented on their own. We know what they can perform. We've seen it in the back end, but it's about performing against one of the best teams in the region.
That's right. That is 100 Thieves, and they will be taking on FlyQuest in their last match of opening week.
Thank you, Zoe. Heading into it, FlyQuest, you know, like you mentioned, like I think actually Zoe put it pretty well. Like it was, they don't need to be, you know, the best team in the world here. They just need to be like, you know, Sentinels, like scrape by this week, try to get to next week. But you don't want to go in that 0-3 deficit like the side of Lunex is in Group B, you know, because that just makes it such a hard next week, a difficult opportunity for you. But, you know, it's not an easy test against the 100 Thieves for sure, but you have to start it out in the ban phase, and we're going to immediately ban out the DD and Mantis for the side of FlyQuest, which is, I think, a unique start.
Yeah, when we just saw, like, 100 Thieves just go crazy with Delena on Elsa, so now Delena gets to get the server admin unlocked, so we have to see how that's going to play out for FlyQuest, but they have a game plan. They take out the Gambit. They wanted to prio protect the Mantis. You were talking about the Mantis earlier today and the side lock. And that's interesting because that's probably going to force out the Gambit ban from the other side for 100 Thieves onto FlyQuest. See how that's going to work out hand in hand. But I know a lot of players are also excited to see more of 100 Thieves with this iteration of the, you know, Self being slotted in. You talked a lot about Self prior. Talk about the flexibility too between the dual lists of Delena and Self and what they could bring too. Because honestly, 100 Thieves also have no issue if they have to run the triple strat.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy, and I think this will determine at least my perspective on this triple strat of this composition with the Mantis and stuff. Like, it feels like FlyQuest are almost preparing for next week when the Elsa nerfs come through and she's minus 50 HP. Maybe that's the reason why they're doing this, because for 100 Thieves, I mean, they've just gotten everything. Like, they've gotten actually everything. Like, this isn't except the Gambit, but the fact that you get Vanpool, the fact that you get Elsa, I mean, maybe that's just like a this week type of situation going on, but that's brutal to see those two in the lobby on the opposite side. I'm really curious how FlyQuest play against it.
It's gonna be hard, and TTK is already hovering over that. Angela, let's get this going, everybody. Our last series of the day to close out the first week of the preseason here in the Ignite Americas region. Diving right into the action with FlyQuest trying to prioritize the Mantis. You have to consider the fact that they're also dealing with like the Loki ban, the Gambit ban, Zelos being on the Cloaking Dagger. Let's see if that's going to work out for them. But I think one thing that we can take away from today, Docman, is the amount of Ultron that has been utilized on Dom specifically.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I think that the Ultron itself is just, you know, very hard to KO on top of the fact that he does insane damage. And he's kind of like easy to play. Like for people that can aim, it's just a hero that kind of gets value by existing almost, right? The only thing that's kind of tough is like figuring out when to use your ultimate. You know, if there's a Magneto on the opposite side, you're just going to farm up that or whatever. But immediately we're going to go for this extreme fast TP play. We'll see if Vess wants to maybe go towards the point, if they're all grouped together for 100 Thieves side. And maybe we get some one-shots with the damage boost.
Trying to get a kidnap here too, splitting the attention, but 100 Thieves are already ahead of them as the point unlocks in the next 6 seconds. Susie already gets trapped. Jeff over from the other side, this time in the hands of Ken after we saw Winnie go over to the White Box. I love what I've seen thus far too with a lot of our White Box players. And that's before the buff too. TTK lingers about to get more information to grasp his backline. The Angela is hungry, looking to sweep in on the next prey.
Vẫn đang đang lượng lời để chọn. Đây, Mantis có lẽ là mục tiêu để chọn.
But you know, for in general, kind of comes for that dive early, has to back away to the health pad, just kind of play around.
Gấp không gấp được, có invite mà.
Taking so much damage. Melio answers back and finds TTK. Great peel too to help Melio gut up to health thanks to Zelos and Ken. And now with that first pick, FlyQuest do have the advantage for now before they try to re-engage because Vinny does have that van pool.
Trước mà ulti đó có nâng cấp không? Nhưng mà chưa có nâng cấp gì điển nha.
Back here, Dogman, while you get your setup here situated. Delena's still now on this Elsa and close to that Clark Rock.
Building up on the inside. Sorry, Vicky, it's just a very little pixely online for me right now.
No worries though, because then we can kind of clean off our glasses just to see that Melio finally does get taken out and the extermination comes in himself. Delena's close to that Lartrox too, but it's going to be Zelos first with the invisible boundary. FlyQuest looking a little bit more straightened up, but with Zelos getting caught with the Lartrox quickly, but it's not fast enough before Delena gets on Zelos. Now the dance looks like it comes in. Jolly finds 2 off of 100 Thieves, and Tusi goes crazy, at least with the Psylocke, with them getting the control over the point first.
Yeah, excellent work there to cap the point, and also my internet to finally sort its stuff out. But for FlyQuest, you know, we'll see how this upcoming fight kind of goes, as they've already set themselves up for a good position. You know, they can kind of play, you know, towards that objective, play towards the point, and allow maybe a little bit more space to come through as you have some solid ultimates. You excelled in the previous fight also to avoid a lot of that damage to the Lartrox. So we'll see if they can keep it up moving forward. Maybe hit a huge Jet Bolt as Self does not have the Ultron, or TTK doesn't have his Meteor M.
I think when you have that environmental KO potential, if he gets protected, looking onto 100 Thieves now with Winnie and Millennia getting to cycle through these Drought ults and look for Self and that extermination that rings through your ears. They're trying to boot FlyQuest off this point, and Jolly has a lot of sustainability too with the Freedom Charge. Melio wraps everybody up together though, and it's going to be the Mantis ult to bring them into these points because they have not gotten off just yet. 100 Thieves trying to force them off, and with the It's Jeff from Ken, Meteor M to slam down, but a good protection to help enable Ken.
Yeah, nice job by Vess to block that Meteor M coming down to save the Jeff. In the meanwhile, they're trying to go to the back line, force out that Luna ultimate. Millennia wants to go forward, right? Take advantage, but the eyes coming through. Maybe debate it out to Lena with the Lartrox off the map. No, it hits the wall. Actually, no.
Wait. Sao lại gọi nó về lại? Có phải đẩy nó đi luôn hả?
And guess what? FlyQuest has a point. No ultimates for support ults on the 100 Thieves side. They're hit by Jolly and Tuzi with the Dance of the Butterflies, and they're cleaned up. FlyQuest are at 90%.
This is a different FlyQuest and a different 2C on this Psylocke. Now you see why they wanted to prio this. FlyQuest showcasing that they have more secrets up their sleeve, and 100 Thieves are going to have to recontest with a portal.
Oh my goodness, and can they get
Có phải là kết quả
at the very least, they get that overtime tick down, but, you know, they have no ultimates. They have to play slow, and Ken is coming up on another Jeffel. Maybe you can get a pick off on Delena or something. Maybe somebody has to go off, but you have to play on the inside angle. Everybody's disengaging that dive coming through. No one understands that needs to live. Good job playing his life for now. Vinny comes out, has that Bane Hammer. Jeff as well comes through. Maybe they can live, and Vinny can get some more damage off down range, but into the sky the Jeff goes. What doesn't want to get meteor? Delena shuts him out. Nice job from Delena to read that. That was the player that needed to step up in that previous fight without the ultimate advantage. But they still need to find more. Wall track coming up soon.
And with overtime ticking down and Vez having the Eye of Agamotto, look at TTK rolling it low. Winnie also close for a reset. Eye of Agamotto comes in, but it only finds TTK. Delena fighting Melio. Right as Zelos calls in the invisible boundary with TTK getting the shish kebab, making sure that the Garchomp truly eats tonight, and 100 take the points. But talk about a dominating first few fights from FlyQuest there to get themselves to 99.
And that was messy. I wonder if, like, so Ken, I think didn't want to get Meteor M'd or maybe even one-shot / charmed. So that is interesting. That didn't go for that Jeff ultimate in the previous fight. That maybe could have turned things. But the decision-making, regardless, has them at 99%, right? So they're going into this next fight. If they can force out Winnie's ultimate now, Self is on Doctor Strange of all things, right? No longer on the Ultron, so they don't have that crazy healing output. But you can't allow Delena, this guy right here, to get pickoffs like he did in the previous fight.
Yeah, Delena was getting away with it, even punishing the It's Jeff. When you saw Ken trying to go for that up on the high ground after he didn't really hit anybody. Uncontested in the back is Millennia, and Winnie's got the resustainability because with assembling the troops, Jolly and the Freedom Charge is leading the way. Meteor MCK trying to find its mark. 2C gets to the back and harassing the
chết được ai nhưng mà sai lóc gần solo ulti với Sona và bây giờ là Saber Admin.
And Delena comes out on top in that 1v1, but it's a trade-off from both sides.
Yeah, did it buy enough time, right? The Psylocke destined to die in that situation. Oh, hyper aggressive. Delena goes. That's he fell. No way. Self ultimate's a little bit too late to save him, but they still get 2 KOs. Counter Eye of Agamotto. Blocked by Self by the Vanguard. They're still alive. Self locked it alongside TDK. In fact, he now finds himself with his pants down. He's gotten 2 in the fight. Still controlling the point 2 is 100 Thieves.
Self with the Eye of Agamotto onto Zelos and Melio. They cannot catch a break, it seems, and Ken is coming in with the It's Jeff because 100 Thieves have flipped this from 0 to 99 and are nearing 90%.
This has gotten incredibly close, Vicky, and you know we have to see now. Like, what does Ken do with this ultimate? He's kind of the only one with it, right? A lot of times he's been dodging. They need to play slow, maybe for that media round. Gets poked a little bit early, but every time they're playing slow, allowing them to build up towards those ultimates. And the Glortrox is still available. And we saw what Delena did before.
Delena's looking for those cough drops though shortly before wrapping over to the left side. And they're immediately catching one. The follow-up onto Beth. Big pick. Let's see if FlyQuest can come into the recontest. As Zelos also has the invisible boundary. 2C waking up, finds 2. Can they find a quick 3K? Jumps up, gets stunned. Beautiful safety as the invisible boundary comes in and a dance up from 100 feet to the sustain.
After this, they have to KO the Psylocke. Everybody has to look at it, make sure he can't get it off, otherwise we're all dead. Into the sky. One portal there. Minus own teammate comes through. He's accidentally through. He wastes half of it. Portal brings him back to his own spawn. No way! The double portal now recontest from 100 feet. TTK taking quick nap. Meteor M is ready. The Freedom Charge is coming in. They're trying to play around the portal to get out of the line of sight. The back and forth. Meteor M up. They have to recontest on the points. They can't get off as it is 100 Thieves' point right now. And with Jolly Fun and Millennia, that's how you open things up. Huge pick. Portal out. Coolbounds out of the White Fox. Can Delena get traded? Oh my goodness. Zelos gets it in the 1v1. Now there's just a Doctor Strange with the back line. What do you have for us on the Van Pool? Can you stall it? No portal. The answer is no. The damage moves too much from 2Z and FlyQuest, who win round 1.
Điên thật. Điên lắm.
Are you kidding me? 2C? I want to have whatever breakfast 2C has because 2C is popping off. The immediate focus, the recontest, even at the end of that dance of the Cutterfly, kind of getting cut off early, still found those prio picks. This Psylocke is on fire, and this is the FlyQuest of those individual talented players that we know to come and love.
Absolutely. Maybe it's that European sort of mentality in terms of the fact that they run the Mantis at a pretty high level. Melio playing that flex role gives him the damage boost, allows Tuzi to pop off like he did. And it's funny because I think we've seen Melio do well in Psylocke as well. So, it's a very interesting team, taking parts of EMEA, coming through, and based on how everybody's talking about it and stuff, we lowered our expectations. But, maybe, Vicky, we need to increase them again, because if they were to beat 100 Thieves today, I mean, 100 Thieves can start off the season 0-2 after all of the expectations that they had.
Imagine being like from the EMEA region and like watching this right now. America's is quite literally a masterclass of interesting outcomes, it seems like. FlyQuest have Vez at least with the Eye of Agamotto, but keep your eyes on Vinny, who's waiting to take into an up angle, and specifically Deleno, who can have that Glartrox to take everybody off the map.
They walk to the point. Like you said, really early into the season, really nobody knows the best comps to play until about like the end of this week. But Jolly on the backside, they already give up the point. 100 Thieves already in control. Jolly frozen after being charmed. All that CC used on him, but they still have to deal with the Glartrox coming up from Delena.
I know it too. Delena's getting a lot more aggressive as everybody's in the line of sight. They release the Glartrox. They push down the invisible boundary, but it's not going to be enough to say the 3 members of FlyQuest. So that's unfortunately an invisible boundary gone to waste.
Yeah, excellent job from Vinny, who is kind of free on the Van pool because he gets that mismatch and, drops Banhammer, gets a lot more damage down range than maybe Zelos expected. But also there was too many people, I think, hit by the Glartrox to actually delete it. So, well timed by Delena in 100 Thieves. We'll see if they can keep it up, right? Down that ultimate. They still have the damage boost in these like neutral fights to where the Psylocke does a lot more damage than you would think. But 100 Thieves finally have the point first, unlike the previous round.
We've been playing off of that slight lag here. Having that difference can make a huge difference for FlyQuest and make the comeback. Winnie taking the fight over to Ken, who unfortunately gets dove on. That's one strat out from FlyQuest, really leaving Zelos and Melio, and they do not want to stagger like this with Melio having that ultimate to try to recontest.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of earlier when we watched Nightmare kind of falter. Like, they're just losing in these weird neutrals where they probably shouldn't. Ken, in that case, on the off angle, got chased down by Delena. 100 Thieves, well practiced, read it. And, it's tough because you don't want to lose fights without ultimates if you're FlyQuest. So, got caught out in that situation. We'll see if it happens again, because now they finally have their straddle. Right? If you had it into the butterflies in the last fight, that could have been big.
Look at Tusi, damage boosted Tusi, and he does have that dancing butterflies, as you mentioned, Dogman. Self playing around the pillar, getting out of the line of sight, does have the extermination to keep everybody up, as Vinny jumps up from behind, and Delena is finding the demon that was Tusi before, shutting this down. Nobody left in FlyQuest to recontest, 99% as it's forced into overtime, and they delete the cap.
Yeah, this is the 100 Thieves we know, right? I mean, just gets the map collapsed at the very end. Didn't even need to break it at the beginning. 100-0 for 100 Thieves, and we go to the next round. Where, curious if the Psylocke works out, because we're going to Imperial Institute of Science, which is a little bit more of an open map. And, I wouldn't necessarily favor the Ultron there necessarily, at a big deal, at a large effect. But I would favor Delena on this Elsa, who will just kind of be able to run free. And, I mean, FlyQuest didn't put up a fight in the last round, Vicky.
Yeah.
They lost every fight.
Domination. Literally, when it comes to this game mode here, Dogman, domination, that first fight can determine so much in terms of, ult economy, and, 100 Thieves in that first round couldn't really find that footing. Meanwhile, on the second round, look at the way that they were able to recontest FlyQuest. They were staggering them. They even jumped Ken, turned them into sushi. And we're going on here to the round 3 where you have more of that verticality that you were talking about.
Excellent reads by 100 Thieves and very poor placement of, just what they did in the previous fight with FlyQuest. They kind of went down one after another, but we'll see if that changes around, right? The first round went their way. They had somewhere, I think, for the strategists to really bunker up and play off of that, but it's going to be a lot harder in this round as it does get a little bit more open in terms of space. So, how does 100 Thieves play this? And more importantly, where is FlyQuest going to put their invisible boundary coming up, and does Ken also try to play for his own life as TDK's off that mag that he was playing earlier, and the Emma has looked flawless.
And as we go the distance too, you have to imagine what this does for the Vanpool, right? He's got those upgrades already ready to go, as he's one of those characters that like to build up, as Delena has released a Glortop, and you have Dez on the receiving end of that